Feeding chickens nothing but grains is giving a teenager chips and soda all day. Easy, but far from ideal. Been there, done that. I let the feed store sell it to me when I saw the picture of the happy hen on the bag, and I thought, why not? But when I fed it to my chickens, they weren't impressed. Yes, they ate it, but they spent the whole day kicking it around like confetti at a New Year's party. And egg production? Mediocre at best. It felt like I was paying top dollar for junk food for them. Feeding chickens grains has become the norm, but it's not the best solution. Kind of like the old days when people thought bloodletting could cure anything. Just because everyone does it doesn't mean it's the right way. And now, enter the Amish. These folks do things differently. They don't buy into flashy grain bags that promise everything, but deliver little. Instead, they feed their chickens for $1.25 a week. Yes, you heard me right. $125 a year. That's less than what I spend on a cup of fancy coffee that barely tastes good. Now, before you think this is some kind of crazy magic trick, hear me out. Sure, your chickens may like grains just like kids like candy. But chickens are omnivores. They need variety in their diet. They're meant to scratch around for bugs, plants, and whatever else they can peck at. Grains are only a small part of their natural diet. Feeding them grains exclusively is like making them binge-watch TV without ever leaving the couch. It's fun for a while, but it's not the healthiest choice in the long run. It wasn't just about saving money on the Amish method, though that is a great benefit. My chickens got healthier, more active, and started laying better eggs. It was like switching from feeding them fast food to gourmet meals. I also was not making constant trips to the feed store for overpriced grains that barely seemed to satisfy them. Did you know that chickens in the wild eat more bugs and seeds than grains? That's because they thrive on variety, and when they get it, they flourish. Grains are just filler. At first, I thought the $1.25 a week thing was too good to be true. But after a couple of weeks, the result was obvious. My chickens were healthier, I saved money, and I no longer cleaned up piles of grain they kicked around like confetti at a party. Today, let's discuss Amish feeding methods. I don't have any farm gadget nor any high-tech thing. The truth is just simple. They feed them kitchen scraps, allow the chickens to forage for food, and fermented feeds. The chickens run around pecking at whatever they can find: bugs, plants, even kitchen scraps. I stood there scratching my head, wondering why I was making chicken feeding so complicated. It was like watching someone take leftovers and turn them into a 5-star meal while I'm stuck with a microwave dinner. And then there's that $1.25 a week cost. It's real. After doing the math, I determined that they were hardly shelling out much on feed, while I was spending money left and right on bags of grain that my chickens barely loved. The Amish buy into no grain hype, instead feeding their chickens with peels from vegetables that go to waste, old bread, and leftover salad, and it is like having a sustainable farm-to-table buffet for chickens. What really hit me was how natural it all seemed. The chickens were free to forage for insects and plants while enjoying fermented feed that helped stretch out their food supply. I'd never even heard of fermented feed before, but the chickens were gobbling it up like it was a 5-star meal. Fermented feed is just normal feed, such as cracked grains, which is soaked in water until it ferments. It is loaded with good bacteria that can help the chickens digest better, similar to how yogurt works in humans. It also expands the feed while fermenting, so you end up needing less to fill them up. It's cheap, easy, and surprisingly effective. Then there is the foraging. Chickens are natural scavengers. They love scratching around for bugs, worms, and whatever they can find in the dirt. Chickens are like tiny, feathered velociraptors, and when they forage, they get the protein they need from insects. And guess what? Bugs are free. No need to buy expensive feed when they can just hunt for their food. I know what you're thinking. Really? Bugs and scraps? Yes, and it's that simple. Chickens aren't picky eaters. They'll eat almost anything you throw at them. And if you let them forage and feed them the right mix of scraps, they'll be healthier. No more watching them kick around dry grains like they're waiting for something better to appear. The best part? This system provides your chickens with variation. Just think about it. If you were to eat the same thing every day, you would get bored, correct? Chickens feel this way too. By giving them scraps and letting them forage, you provide them with a more natural diet. And the results prove this. Healthier chickens lay better eggs. It's the circle of life, but with fewer trips to the feed store and more cash in your pocket. The first sign of success? Better eggs. The difference between a grain-fed chicken egg and one from a chicken on the Amish diet is like the difference between fast food and a home-cooked meal. Richer color, better flavor, and more nutritional value. I remember cracking open the first egg after changing their diet, and the yolk was so vibrant I thought it was some kind of chicken magic. But no, it was just healthier food. According to studies, chickens that were fed a more diverse and nutrient-rich diet will lay eggs that contain higher levels of vitamins A, E, and omega-3s, those good nutrients you pay extra for at the grocery store. It is more than just eggs. Chickens look and feel healthier. Their feathers appear shiny, and they stop losing as many as they used to. They are more active and just seem to be generally more healthy. They seem to be happier, or as happy as a chicken can get. Their health does as well. Since moving over to the Amish way, sickness has happened less and less frequently. No more running to the vet for every little ailment. Egg production also receives a boost. With grains, my hens were laying eggs, but not consistently. Now, with the Amish method, they are more active and productive. I didn't need a spreadsheet to track the improvement. I just needed a full egg carton every week to know enough. And the bonus? Less waste. Chickens on a grain-heavy diet produce more waste because, surprise, chickens aren't designed to eat grains all day. With the Amish diet, what goes and gets used more efficiently, which means fewer messes for you to clean up. By the time my chickens had adjusted to the diet, I felt I found the secret sauce to chicken keeping. More eggs, healthier birds, and fewer vet bills. If someone had told me earlier, I would have thought it was some kind of backyard chicken myth. But no, this is the real deal. And as long as my chickens are happy, laying eggs, and looking sharp in their glossy feathers, I'm sold. Before I learned the Amish method, feeding chickens was going to bankrupt me. It was a cycle of buying bags of grain and wondering if I was feeding chickens or cattle. Now, the Amish way costs about as much as a cup of fancy coffee per week. It's simple, effective, and cheap. No more lugging heavy bags of grain or storing them in my garage, inviting every critter in the neighborhood to the buffet. The switch to the Amish method has been stress-free. I no longer haul bags of overpriced chicken food, but feed my chickens kitchen scraps and bits of forage they find in the yard. It is so easy. It almost feels like cheating, and it runs on autopilot. Once you get into the rhythm of saving scraps and preparing fermented feed, it practically takes care of itself. It's simple, low maintenance, and effective. Not about being an expert, but realizing sometimes the simplest methods work best. If you can make a sandwich, you can feed your chickens like the Amish. And once you see the difference in your flock, you'll be hooked. This feeds chickens the Amish way, a long-term plan to switch from fast food to a clean, home-cooked diet. This surely benefits one's chickens as a whole. Healthier chickens and better eggs, fewer vet visits, and a happier wallet. It's win-win and keeps on giving. The bottom line? If you're tired of shelling out an outrageous amount for grain that your chickens barely even seem to appreciate, then the Amish way is the answer. Better for your chickens, better for your wallet, and better for your peace of mind. You'll be clucking your way all the way to the egg carton, and your chickens will thank you too.